From Free Speech TV, Just Solutions. Gillian, it's so great to have you with us. Thank you very much for being our guest on Just Solutions.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, take us back to your own experience in life, your own experience with hair that led you to want to get involved with this film and create this documentary, Back to Natural. What were you experiencing?
Wow. I had chemically straightened hair for as long as I can remember. I don't know if it was 6 or 7, but it was very early on. My mom chemically straightened my hair. I've asked her before, what led her to that, and she said it was the style, and it definitely was the style. And so it was not something that I thought about. It was just a ritual of using these chemical straighteners in my hair every 4 to 6 weeks. Frequently, it was painful. It was an upsetting process, but it was a process that was normal for me, and that I never really questioned until later on in my life. And that questioning led to the development of this documentary, Back to Natural, which really looks at internationally to understand why it is that Black people have the relationship we have with our hair, and why people from outside of our cultural group have a lot of thoughts, feelings, biases about our hair, and how that affects our communities.
Well, the film takes us from the US to Paris, France, and then Cape Town, South Africa. And I definitely want to talk about the universality of the experience that Black people are dealing with around Black hair. But, you mentioned there the chemical straighteners. I mean, these have been proven to have carcinogens, to be exposing people who are using them to all kinds of health issues. So, I mean, this gets back to people's a sense of self, but also the actual health implications of how Black hair has been forced by society, by white supremacist attitudes to change. Talk a little bit about that, because it's not just a hairstyle. We're talking about people's health. We're talking about people's experience in the workplace and education. There's so many layers to this.
There's so many layers. Where do we start? The Environmental Working Group did a study several years ago that showed Black people, Black women particularly, spend 9 times the amount of money on hair products to be in alignment with basically values of beauty and acceptability that center the white body. So we spend 9 times the amount of money on these products, which means that we are exponentially exposed to chemicals, endocrine disrupting hormones, which can lead to things like premature birth or low birth weight. So that means that Black people are impacted by this even before we're born, even in utero. You're right. It has been linked to cancers, has been linked to obesogens, which means that things that impact our weight and our hormone systems. So just on a financial and a physical health level, before we even get to psychological, there are huge impacts for guidelines, grooming standards, or just expectations that aren't in alignment with our natural hair and our natural bodies.